Hello and welcome to an everyday occurrence on my desk mess. Anyways, that's not what we're gonna talk about today. Right now, I've been busy today playing with acrylic paints of all kinds and sorts, and that reminded me that there was something about some acrylic paint I promised somebody to talk about. So let's do that. And they're here. It's just 6 small tubes of paint, and it's the pearl colors from Amsterdam Standard Series. And these guys call them pearl colors, other people call them pearl colors, and some people call them interference colors. I tend to fall in the last category. It's kind of inaccurate to call these interference colors when they're called pearl colors, but it's the same thing. So I have here a stretched canvas, and for some reason there's all kinds of dirt on it. So this type of colors, called pearl or interference, doesn't matter what they're called, they do the same thing. They got different colors, so let's grab one. This one is violet. And the canvas is just white raw canvas. I haven't put any gesso on it or anything. It's just right out of the package. I'm just gonna do this with this color because it's the same regardless of what color we use. If we put it on white, it does not really show much. We can try and get some light on it, and maybe we can get a little bit of a purple sheen off it, but really not a lot. So it's nearly invisible on white. And I could try the others out and it doesn't matter because it's the same thing. I can see a slight pink sheen, and it gets a little stronger when the paint dries. I believe there's some mica in here, and when they lie better flat down in the paint, as the water evaporates and the paint film gets thinner, you get a little more reflection. Um, so they aren't very interesting on anything white. So let's grab. I have here a Vallejo lamp black, and it's a fluid. Love fluid paints. This is a nice black one. I haven't got a lot to say about this, and I sped this up because, yeah, painting something black. The paint goes a long way, so yeah, painted the whole canvas black. Okay, so cleaned up a little bit, got some clean water, and this is still a little taggy, but it's okay. So they come in 6 colors, and they show up way better on black. So this is white, and they all look kind of very white when you first put them on. But you can see as I spread them out, it doesn't look quite so white, and it will dry more transparent. So this is the white color, as I said. And you can see that the shine is mostly just wet paint shine because it's wet. There we go. That was white. We got a yellow here. As long as they're wet, they kind of look a lot the same. Let's see, this one is a bit more yellow. And where I spread it out thin, you get a better idea about the color. You can't put it on so thick that when it dries, it still looks kind of a bit white where it's the thickest. So it's not much of a point to put it on thick. It doesn't look good thick. That's also why I use my fingers, because I can better kind of rub it into the canvas. That was a yellow. We'll leave it to dry and continue. So this is green. It looks really good on the corner for me. This paint is good to make accents and stuff. It's not good for things you need to scan. It might come across a little funny in your scanner. But for pieces that you are actually gonna hang up or look at or sell or something, it's actually quite funny and interesting and nice. So again, it looks really not good wet. It will get better some as it dries. Blue. Golden has this type of colors too, and they called them interference. That was one of the things I actually was looking at while waiting for paint to dry. Yes. A lot here. Golden's paints, of course, cost quite a bit more than the Amsterdam. But they got a couple of colors that Amsterdam doesn't. They got an orange, for instance. See. The blue is quite nice. And you can start to see the yellow and the green better. Violet. The first one of these I bought by accident. I was a little busy in the shop and went over to the rag and just grabbed a tube. And I thought it was a Naples yellow. The Naples yellow of this brand looks a lot like this. And I was kind of surprised when I came home and discovered that it was actually the violet I got as the first one. It's getting better and better as it dries. And red is the last one. And the violet sat in my stash for a long time because I scan my work, so I don't really use shiny stuff. But I used it tried it on a piece that I was gonna give away as a gift. And I was like, oh yeah, I like this. I better try the other ones. So here we are. And when the great thing about Amsterdam Standard Series is they have these little 20 milliliter test tubes. It's not a test tube, but it's a tube of test. Yeah, you know what I mean. And so you can go and buy, and that you buy them individually at the stores that carries them. So if there's a color or in this case an effect paint, you kind of is not sure if it's your thing or not. You can just buy a little tube and see if that is something. And you're not out a lot of money and you don't have a lot of paint sitting around if it turns out you don't like it. So yeah, these are the 6 I got, and they look like a lot more, as you can tell, on black instead of white. And you get intermediate effects on the colors that's between black and white. The darker the color, the more effect you get out of this. So they're quite interesting to play with. And, of course, you can use them as a painting in itself. let's try and let this dry and see once it's all dry. So now they're at least dry to touch. And the thing about black is that every mistake you make or every variation in coverage that you might cause shows. It shows a little less on colored surface, especially if you have like a blue and you add some of this shiny blue on top. It doesn't show so much. Like you can see all my fingerprints and how much I put on every every given spot. So this looks streaky and stuff, and that's okay with me because I'm gonna paint over it and do something else with this canvas. But you can see them, and if I use the brush, it would be more even. So yeah, it's and it's remember it's an effect paint, so it's meant to be used as effects. I have tried to mix them a bit, but they don't really mix all that fantastic. You can do it, but I actually find them better to be mixed in with a little bit of real color, so to speak. So here's blue and yellow together. Like, see if we can mix up something that looks like a green. They tend really not to turn so. And it's the same thing if you try to mix metallic colors, that is usually also not super good. Can't tell. It looks like it totally lost all color. But again, let's try and let it dry. I don't know if I mixed the white in there by accident. So I'm gonna try something else. Definitely says yellow on this one. I'm gonna try and put some on top of the blue. The blue does show through, but it doesn't come out as green. It is just the yellow sits on top of the blue. And this one, it says pearl blue. I've only tried this on paper before, so that's why I'm kind of curious about this. Trying to mix it. It didn't work on paper at all. It was kind of like this, where it just tend to sit on top of each other. No, doesn't really mix. You get whatever you put on top the most. Looks a little muddy, just. So that way they're not good. They are effect paints to sit on top of something else to make it shiny. So that's them. I have had a lot of fun with them lately. And these tubes I've actually used quite a lot, and so a little tube goes a long way. I believe if you have to buy them in larger tubes or in the tubs, they cost more than the regular paints. Not by a lot, but as I said, a little goes a really, really long way. So you don't need tons of it. And yeah, they have some metallics too, and the only one of those I got is this one that is graphite. I'm not even sure if it's gonna show on any of this. Maybe over here. It's a shiny gray. Some mica and what else in here? There is coated mica and PBK7. So coated mica and black. And it's a bit shiny and also kind of opaque. You can see how it covers the other paints. Currently, I don't have the other metallics from Amsterdam. I got some from Schminke that I might play around with in another video. So, but for now, that's the interference or pearl colors from Amsterdam that I promised to show and talk about, and you got a bonus with the graphite. The mixture down there really is not coming through for us. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and come back so you can see some art. I'm gonna do something here in October, and no, it won't be Inktober.